Hello, everybody. This is Vince and Sherry from Pastor Life.
And today we're going to be talking about a subject that applies to all of us, and that is how we handle our finances. And Vince and I are going to be doing a series over time about some of the different areas of finances, but today we're going to just kind of hit the overall highlights.
In a word, we call it stewardship.
Yes.
How we handle our finances. And for the sake of this video, when we say finances or stewardship, we're talking about the financial part of it. I know stewardship involves our talents, our time, and all that.
That's right.
But for the sake of this time, we're going to be talking about the way we handle our money. Now, remember this. Money is not a bad thing at all. It's okay to have money in your head, but it's never okay to have money in your heart. You need to think about it. You need to be a good manager of money. You need to see it in the proper way, but you should never, ever let it control your decisions.
That's a good point, and one that I think we need to pray about as we go forward in asking God to let us be good stewards and to keep money from being something that we absolutely love and allowing it to be something that God gives us that we can use as we need it and as He directs us.
Right. So we're going to start off by the first thing, and that is this, is that everything belongs to God.
Yes.
Sometimes you get in life and you say, I want this or I want that, but ultimately, everything on this earth, above it and beneath it, belongs to God. You're basically, well, honestly, you're a steward of what God has bestowed you with for a specific period in your life. So it all belongs, first of all, it all belongs to Him.
And stewardship is basically, and just some people may not have heard that term used a lot, but stewardship is being responsible and taking, not instead of ownership, you're just learning to be responsible with what God has given you and learning to use it in the way that He directs you to do. So I guess that'd be a good definition of stewardship.
One of the hobbies that we do have is collecting antiques, and we have some antiques that were hundreds of years old. And I was always fascinated that I was the one that was in possession of it at that time. It could have been a radio or another piece of equipment, and it had to be kept in the right climate. It had to be kept out of the rain. It had to be taken care of. And it would get in my hands and it would be in excellent condition. And I'm thinking of all the people that were stewards of this in the past. Didn't know their names. I didn't know what store it was purchased from, what state it came from. All I knew, it was in my possession right now. And I wanted to take care of it because I realized it really wasn't mine. I was a steward of it till the next person took possession of it. So stewardship is a realization that you are responsible for whatever it is that God puts in your path, that you really don't own it per se, but you are a steward of it till the next person takes control of it.
And as much as we love money, or maybe, really you're excited when we get money, maybe we love our things, we love our possessions, our clothes, and the things that we have. Right. We can't take any of it with us.
There's not a thing
it's
that
temporary.
We can take. I've done hundreds and hundreds of funerals, and a lot of times people will ask me in the community, especially if it's somebody of wealth that's passed away, and they'll ask me, what did he leave behind? And I'll say, everything.
Everything.
He left it all. Whatever he's got, he prepared for, he sent it on ahead.
And it helps you to not be obsessed with certain things when you have those experiences. I know when Vince and I were first married, and we might go into this in a later video, on our move to seminary, we were newlyweds, and we had saved and had some furniture. We had a ton of wedding gifts.
I don't know why I'm smiling as she tells the story.
But all of it burned in a fire.
Poof, right there on 85. Caught on fire, the furniture truck caught on fire, and we watched it all go up in smoke.
Yes.
It's not funny. I mean, it wasn't funny then, but
I think I might have just turned 20. I don't know. I was 19 when we got married. I was either 19 or 20. You were like, what, 21?
Yeah.
And we were just kids starting out, and we learned, number one, that things come and things go.
Yes.
And so that's a very important lesson. That was one that we were thankful to learn. So we've talked today about how everything belongs to God. We are responsible to be good stewards, and what does that mean? And then another thing that we have found is super helpful when dealing with finances, and you are married, is communication.
You have to talk about your finances. It's a mistake to have a couple and only one of the couples knows where the money's going, what things cost. It might be awkward at times, but I think as a spouse and a couple, you need to sit down with a pencil and piece of paper, and you both need to know what the mortgage is. You both need to know what the power bill is. You both need to know if there is a debt, an outstanding debt, how much it is. You need to know what the interest rate is on that debt, and you need to discuss plans on how to pay off those debts, and at the same time, a plan on how to save back money. It can be done. It can be done.
Yes, and we're going to talk in our next video about debt, and that's going to be, I think, an important one. But for today, talking about savings, you know, how we can all have savings. I know that with the economy today, we feel like there's just no way we can save anything. There's nothing left to save. And what we started out doing a number of years ago is recognizing that even coins that we find in the couch or in the parking lot, they can be earmarked into an account for savings.
Right. And there's times even when we wanted to purchase something and we decided against it, we would take that set amount and we would put that in an envelope or a box or whatever, and we would save that money for something else. So let's say if we were going to go out to eat and the cost was going to be approximately $25, and we chose not to, we chose to stay home, we would take that $25 and put that in a special account or a special box somewhere around the house to save that money. It became like a game, but you'd be surprised how much money you can save up over a short period of time just by making good decisions.
And it was something wonderful for us to discuss, which goes back to communication. When we would have money either given to us for special occasions or something, birthday or whatever it might be. Of course, we got things for our birthday, but there may be a time when I might say, you know, for my birthday, I want to do this, but I want to do it later in the year. We'd put that money back and save it for those times and let that add up and accrue so that if we wanted to go on an overnight trip or something, we could, even though we're homebodies and we don't love overnight trips.
Well, we've learned, like, if somebody gave us a gift, you know, a pretty good sized gift, we would never spend it. We would put that in the bank because we knew God was preparing us for something
that's
going
about
to
to
break
happen.
down. So if you got money, you know, of a substantial amount, $100, $500, whatever it may be, we would always say that because we're saying the Lord is prepared. He's giving us the money in advance. Now, God can work in all kinds of ways. Sometimes He can work when you don't have the money, and He's going to provide it at the end. Sometimes He can provide it before the event happens. You just have to trust Him with that money instead of saying, hey, I've got $500. We can go to a particular location for a weekend and have a great time and have some great memories. Or you can say, well, wait a minute, the Lord's provided $500. That might be something's coming up. And I cannot tell you how many times we've saved money back, and within the next couple of weeks, something had happened and we had the money for it.
That's
so
right.
God doesn't always have to speak, you know, when the destitution happens. Sometimes He'll give it to you in advance and let you be a good steward of it for a couple of weeks.
That's right. And that helps because when that thing happens, when the car broke down or something like that, you know, if we had not saved that money back, that money would have to come from somewhere.
Yes.
It would have to go on a credit card or come, if you have, you know, savings accounts, it would have to be pulled from somewhere. And for people maybe who don't save, and we know there are people who don't, then it would probably go on a credit card and you'd have to end up paying interest on that. So what we try to do is think ahead. If God's giving us money, it usually means we're going to need it in the future for something. And He's letting us have it in advance so that we can get prepared. And there's not that twinge of discomfort when something happens and, you know, you don't know what you're going to do. We've been there too.
A set of tires. A set of tires on your car.
It's crazy what they
$800.
cost.
Yeah. But when you have cash and you're thinking, well, can I pay on a credit card at 18% or 21% interest, whatever it may be.
They'd probably be 25 or 30.
Probably higher now.
And
then they charge you 2.9% because you're using the credit card. It's a whole lot easier. And at times, it's even at a better deal if you find somebody that will give you a discount for cash. Doesn't hurt to ask.
That's right.
It never has stopped me from saying, what's the cash price if I pay cash right now? Sometimes you can get a better deal.
And even if you save, you still can come across things because we've seen it happen where you may not have the money to pay it, but we know that God will provide. So if you have to make some kind of credit arrangement, you can do that and pay it off. So there are those times, but we feel better about it when we know, well, you know what, we saved all that we could. And so we are going to, you know, feel like we're being good stewards over that, pay what we can, and then if we have a balance, we'll be sure to pay that off as quickly as possible.
Amen.
So that really is a blessing. And so we've talked about how God is over it all, how we are called to be good stewards. We talked about talking, about communicating about money and making that more comfortable. And the only way to make it more comfortable is to do it. And if one of you gets really intense about money and the other is more laid back about these things, that can be difficult. So both partners are going to have to concede something.
Bend a little bit.
Bend a little bit. If you're an uptight person, you're going to have to maybe be a little bit calmer. If you're a little bit laid back, you may have to be more intentional and focused when you're talking about money. Understand your partner's views on that. And so you can communicate better, because nothing is worse than when both people shut down from talking and then it's a subject you won't bring up anymore. That's not good.
And that's not healthy to your marriage.
It's not. And then we talked about the importance of saving and being able to put back a little bit of money for things that might come up. These are some just overviews of financial situations that we have been talking about in our lives over time, and we think that you guys might be talking about, and we'd love to hear how you view money. What are some of the challenges maybe that you've had, if you feel comfortable in sharing that, or some things you might like to hear us discuss. And as I said, in the next video that we do in the financial series, we're planning to talk about debt. How do you tackle debt? And what are maybe God's views about our debts? And so we look forward to sharing that with you. I don't think I know anyone who's perfectly ideal in the financial realm.
Yeah.
We all face struggles at one time or another, and that's just normal to do because we're human beings. And what we want to do is to honor God with our finances and with our entire life.
Amen. Amen.
That's right.
Well, we're certainly glad that you tuned in to be a part of this YouTube channel today. If you haven't, we ask that you give us a thumbs up and you subscribe. By now, our space might be open, our webpage, pastorlife.com might be open. We ask that you give that a visit and to be able to, can you follow a page like that?
You can. Well, I don't know if you necessarily can follow it, but you certainly can visit it frequently.
Okay.
I think that you can go over there to pastorlife.com and visit that page. And I don't know if there's a way maybe that they could subscribe to something like that, but we will certainly be referring you over to that page quite frequently here on our YouTube channel, because we want you to go over there and check out all the sermons. There's going to be really thousands of sermons and commentaries on that site. We are constantly uploading them. I have been working on that. I have so many more sermons to upload. And so even though our website is going to launch, it's launching right now. Even though that's the case, there will be new sermons going on every subject that's out there in every book of the Bible. So be sure to go over. And this is not just for pastors, even though I know pastors will make use of it probably the most. If you're doing a Bible study in your home, if you're doing a personal study of a book of the Bible and you would like to see what pastors have shared, you can look that up. Just look up like a James, and you can look up James and read all the different sermons and ideas and commentaries that pastors have about that particular book of the Bible, and it will bless you as you're doing your own personal studies.
Certainly will. And of course, we have something from the director's desk, which is a kind of a message from me, and then something from the pastor's wife, something from her as well. And so we're trying to make it, it speaks to everybody that comes to the website. So it's something that you could probably visit every day and see something sort of different new. But thank you for listening. Please give us some feedback. Tell us what you would like us to speak about. We would be more than happy to look at that. If you'd like to be a contributor to Pastor Life, if you'd like your sermons to be considered to be placed on, and you'd like to be considered to be a pastor for a specific time, our featured pastor, please send that in to us and let us know. We're here to uplift pastors that are uplifting the name of Jesus.
That's right. And if you are just, a person who's come over from my page on the Homespun Wife on Facebook, if you could share this with your friends, share our channel and our website with your pastor and pastor's wife, let them know that this resource is available free of charge for them. We are a nonprofit charitable organization, so we just offer all the sermons. You don't have to join or pay for anything. It's there for you whenever you want to access it. And if you have not already, please give us a thumbs up and subscribe so that you can be sure to follow future videos with us.
Hey, God bless y'all.
Yes.
Have a wonderful day.
Great to see you all. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.